Hello everyone, welcome to Opportune. My name is Eva, and in today's lesson we have another Power BI report. And for this lesson we are going to look at the bank loans, and we are going to analyze the bank loans with the given business requirements. This is the business requirements that we are going to be working with. I am going to attach the dataset on the I'm going to attach the link on the description box, so check it out and join me as we prepare this report, and let's get to it. Now let's have a look at the business requirements for this project, and we have these statements that says that a certain bank is concerned with the number of loans that they have marked as charged off for the last 5 years. Despite the number of people who have paid back their loans, the managers and credit control teams are afraid that a certain category of borrowers are susceptible to defaulting and may also end up not paying at all. The bank is looking to eliminate the category of borrowers with the likelihood of not paying back based on the reason of borrowing or the demographics, as the contracted data analysts provide information that may be used in this situation. Now, from this business requirement statement, you can come up with a functional requirement for this project. And I'll read the ones that we came up with. The first one is to analyze the loan performance of the bank by calculating the KPIs such as the total loans issued, total borrowers, the loan period, average time taken to pay off, total paid, and total charged off loans. Then we have another requirement that you're going to categorize the purpose of the loan and the loan payment status, verification status, and the grade of the loan. Lastly, we are going to analyze the borrower's demographic in terms of their employment status, the home ownership status, the region, and the experience level. Lastly, we are going to look at the metrics that are going to be used for this project. We have the total loan disbursed, we have the average repayment period, we have the total borrowers, we have the total loan repaid, loan category by repayment status, the verification and the grade, and lastly, loans issued by borrowers, employment status. Now, we're going ahead to import the dataset, and I will link it on the description box so that you can follow along as you design this project. So let's go to to create a new page here and get data and import the Excel workbook. We'll go ahead and select the table that you want to include for this project. And on this section, we're going to transform the data. This is going to take us to the Power Query. So let's have a look at what we're working with. The first column is the ID. This is the ID of the loan ID. This is the member ID. This is the loan amount. This is the funded amount. And as you can see, for most cases, we have the same amount, but like this is the loan amount and this is the much that this person was funded. And then we have the funded amount invoice. And then we have the term of the loan, the interest rate, installment, grade, and the subgrade, the employment title of the person borrowing the loan, the employment length, the home ownership, whether this person has a home or not, and the annual income. Then we have the verification status. Then there's the issue underscore D. This is the issue date. Go ahead and rename this so that we have the the naming that is going to be relevant for this project. Then there's the loan status, the payment plan. We may not use that one. This is the description of the loan. Due to lack of personal finance, just want to pay off the last bit of the credit card. Then there's the purpose of the loan, the title. Then you have the zip code and the address date. You have the DTI, the finance dealing years, earliest credit line. I'm just going to rename the columns that I will use for this project. And since the last record, finance open account, public record. Let's go, keep going. Is the total payment. So I'm going to call this a total repay. Just total payment amount. Okay. Is the total payment invoice. Then we have interest recovery collection fee. Is the last payment date. This. In many cases, when you're doing such a project, you'll have a data dictionary so that you know uh, what all these fields are and what they mean. But since this dataset did not come with a data dictionary, then we're going to rename the fields as we see necessary. This is the last payment amount. I don't think we're going to use that one. The last credit pull date. We're also not going to use that one. Okay, what you will notice, let me just load first and then we'll talk about that later. Go ahead and also rename this table. Instead of March 1, you can go ahead and call it backlog so that it remains relevant to what we are doing right now. And I will view this table since we do not have any relationships, just one flat table. We'll go ahead and view the fields. And this is exactly what we had in Power Query. So what you will notice is that there is one requirement here that states there's one metric here that you're going to measure that is called the average repayment period, and this is a column that we do not have. We would like to introduce that field. We'll just introduce it as the last field so that it calculates the difference between the last payment date and the issue date. I'm going to add a new column, and it's going to be a calculated column, and just this payment duration. and this is going to be equal to the date difference. We'll use this function of the date difference between the issue date. Let's bank loan issue date issue date difference between issue date and the last payment date, and then this is going to be in months. We want that calculation done in months. Then we're going to hit enter, and this is going to give us the payment duration, the loan payment duration in months. And from this, we can easily calculate the average duration taken to pay a loan. Okay, we're going to go to the design page. And I want to introduce some other measures here. Let's bring a table. As we display the amount of loan disbursed, I'd like to see a year-on-year difference. And to do that, we'll have a measure that calculates a year-on-year comparison of the issued loan. So let's add a new measure. The first measure, we're going to call it the total loan disbursed, and it's going to be equal to the sum of the total loan, total funded amount. We're going to hit enter. So we'll be displaying this as we move along. Once you have it, you're going to come to your right hand side and locate this measure. This is called the total loan disbursed, and you can clearly see it here displayed. Then the other measure that you're going to introduce is going to be the previous year. So we are going to do a comparison. This is the previous year, and you're going to say this will be equals to calculate, and then we'll bring this, the one that we have already we have just calculated, that is the total loan disbursed, and then we want it to show for the previous year. Once you select previous year, we are going to reference the date, and in this case we have the issue date. And this will be issue date dot date, and then we'll close this and hit enter. Let's check out that measure. This is called the previous year. Bring it down here. Then I'll also look for the issue date and bring it down here. I'll go ahead and close this. This is what I want to remain with. Let's go ahead and close the other categories and we remain with the year. So as you can see, we have the issue date. Okay, we still needed this, the total loan disbursed, so that you can see for each year. Yeah. And now here's the comparison. Let's have this in order. It's going to come down here. Okay. Let's bring the previous year as the last column so that we can clearly see the comparison. Okay. So this is what we sold in, this is what we dispersed in 2007. Then 2008 compared to 2007, 2009 compared to 2008, 2010 compared to 2009, and then 2011 compared to 2010. We need this comparison so that we can see the year-on-year improvement of the loan disbursement. We need to show this variance in terms of percentage, and this will need us to have a new measure that is going to be, let's call this percentage variance. Uh, which is going to be equals to, now here we'll need the divide function. This is going to divide the difference between the total loan disbursed minus the previous year, then divided by, since we already say divide, we're just going to put a comma there, and then we're going to divide this by the total loan disbursed. Close the bracket and hit enter. So this is the percentage variance disbursed, and then let's bring it here so that we can see the variance here and in terms of percentage. Okay. Now, as you can see, we do not have a year when the loan disbursement is going down. All the years we have a percentage increase of 84, 70, 60, and 54%. Now that we have all the measures that we're going to need for this project, I'll delete this table and we'll start designing our report. Let's collapse this. First of all, we'll need the background color for this report, and we are going to go with a mint green. Let's go to the website where we're getting our color palettes. So we'll be getting our color palettes in the aicolors.co, and we want a mint green color. So let's have a look at this. So let's come to these greens and scroll down. So this is what we'll be using for this project. This is what we'll be using for this project. This is a pound sign CEF DE5. Let's go back to Power BI. We'll go to wallpaper, color, and we'll have the pound sign CEF DE5. So that's perfect. Okay, we'll have a title for this report. and we'll introduce our text box here. And we're going to give it a title, and we call this loan month, and def- defaulting mitigation. The loan performance and defaulting risk mitigation reports. Okay, so we're going to add a few effects on this title. Let's reduce that size. Then we're carrying it and putting it at the center, so that will appear just to show us that this is at the center. Okay, so we are going to add a few effects. We are going to leave it with a white background. We're going to increase the transparency just a little. That is too much, maybe 30%. And then you're going to give it a visual border, and the color is going to be white. The color is going to be this mint greenish, and then we'll increase the rounded corner to around 5, and we're going to have a shadow at the bottom right, and I want it to have a grayish color, not too dark. Okay, it is perfect. Once our background has been designed and the title put in place, the next thing that we want to do is introduce the KPIs, and I will have KPIs here that will be displayed using the new card. Let me show you how we go about that. So you come to this new card icon, you select it, and then you're going to expand it a little. Once you expand it like that, I will have the key metrics here. So the first thing I want to visualize is the total loans applied, not the amount, but the number of applications that have been made. So I'll come and pick the ID field and drop it here. And this is going to be displayed as a distinct count. Next thing that I want to display is the total amount that has been dispersed. So I'll take this and drop it here. Okay. Then the other thing I want us to display is the total amount that has been repaid. This is the total payment. We'll drop it there. The last thing that we want to display in the KPIs is the average duration taken to repay the loan. And we're going to get this from the calculated column. We'll drag this and drop it here. Now we'll start formatting our card. As you can see, we cannot see the fourth KPI. So let's start formatting this. Let's highlight and then we click. We'll start by looking at the layout, and we want a single row, and the style that we want is the card. So let's go down. In the maximum number of cards, as you can see, we can only see 3 cards. So I will increase this and let's have something like 9 so that we're able to see well. Okay, 10 is okay. And then the space between the cards, we have 8 pixels, and I'll just increase this a bit to 20 pixels. Okay, that's okay. And then let's go ahead and collapse. There's nothing else that we're going to change here. We can go ahead and collapse that, and then we can go out. We can go ahead and select the callout values. So this is going to apply for all. Let's start by reducing the font size to 30. Then we're going to make this bold, and we're going to change the font type here. And then once that is done, let's go ahead and look at the labels. We change the labels one by one. So let's format each. We'll start with the count of ID. We will change this and call it total application. And that's okay. So let's go to the next item. The next item is going to be the total loan disbursed, and I will not change much here. I'm just going to capitalize the first letter. So let's go ahead and update it. So the total disbursed. Next, we're going to change all these callout values. So we select this sum of total payment amount, and I will call this amount paid. And lastly, I will change the average duration. Okay, once that's done, let's just come here for a minute and look at this average duration. We do not want the sum, we want the average. So we get this in months. Let's proceed with the formatting. We'll go next to the card itself, and let's do more of the formattings here. So we are going to change the shapes from a rectangle to a rounded corner, and the alignment is okay. The pixels of the rounded corner, we're going to reduce this. to 20. That is okay. And then we're going to not have a background on. We'll turn it off. We'll have a shadow, and we're going to change the color of the shadow from black to I think that's okay the way it is. Bottom right, we're going to add an accent bar. We turn it on, and then we're going to have it on the right side, and let me show you as we increase the width. So you come to the width and the pixels. So let's increase it a bit. That's too much. Let's go with a 10. And we're going to change this color to a gray. That is okay. Last thing I want to do, I want to format these values. Like I want to show this as a whole number without the decimals. I want this to be as it is together with that, and this average duration in months to be a whole number. So we go to the call out values. Let's collapse this call out values, and then we'll format this one by one. Let's start with the count of ID. I want to remove the decimal places. So for the units, I'll say none. And now we can go ahead and reduce these decimal places to 0. So we can get a whole value there. Let's go ahead and format the average duration card, and we'll go from count of ID to average payment duration. And I'll do the same. I'll come down here and remove the decimal places. And I remove the decimal places to 0. Okay, that is okay. Let's go to the general formatting of the card. We'll go to the effects. We'll put a background color. Or instead of doing that, let's just increase the transparency to 100%, such that it's fully transparent. And then we collapse this. Let's have a look at the card the way they are. That's perfect. So I'll drag this and put it at the top here next to my title. And then I'll reduce the size a little. That is okay. That is okay. So the next thing I want to do, I want to be able to filter this information. I want to be able to filter this information by the loan status by the loan status. So I will add a slicer here, and this is going to give me the ability of slicing this data in terms of the loan status, such that I can look the charged off and see how many applications were made, the amount disbursed to them, the amount they repaid, and the average duration it's taking these loans to be charged off. Then I can look at the current, and lastly I can filter by the fully paid. And as you can see, the fully paid loans are the best performing ones. So let's remove the filter and start formatting this slicer. And let me show you how we are going to format the slicer. So we come to the slicer settings. It's in vertical, and I'm going to change the format to a tile, and I'm going to reduce the size vertically, and horizontally I'm also going to reduce it because I want it to put it next to this card. So let's shrink it a little more. That's okay. So we can pick the slicer and drop it here. This is still a bit large. Let's reduce it further. Okay, so that is okay. So let's go ahead and start formatting this. Continue formatting it. So we changed the style and the selection part is okay. So we can turn the slicer header off. Then let's go to the values. Okay, the values are we should make it black, and the other thing that we want to do, we want to change the background of the slicer, and we'll change it from white to mint green. I still want to make this bold so that it is visible, or it's getting too large. So let's not do that. Okay. So I think this looks pretty nice. The last thing I want to do here is just change the background color, and we'll come to effect and just increase the transparency of the card, and we'll give it a shadow, and this is not and just to add something small, we'll have the visual borders. We'll have the visual border turned on so that we can have a rounded corner up to 5 pixels. So I don't want that to be black. I want it to have the same background color. So the visual border color, we change it to this green. That's okay. Just increase this a little bit. That's perfect. Okay, so this gives us the ability to filter the information contained in this report, and we can view it in terms of charged off loans, the current loan, and the fully paid loan. Okay. So the other format, the other metric that I want to display here is a year-on-year comparison of the issued loans, and from our measures that we already created, we have the percentage variance of the disbursed loans. I'm going to drop it there, and I'll take the issue date, drop it here, and here we just want to display year-on-year performance. Then you're going to get rid of all these, and we will get year-on-year performance of the loan. So as you can see, we have had a percentage increase each and every year. Each and every year, and we can choose to display the increase percentage. Okay, we will go ahead and format this so that we are able to see how the disbursed loans have performed, either by increasing or decreasing. So let's have the title turned off on the x-axis and also on the y-axis. And then let's just format here and finish up. On the values, we'll have this in bold, and the color, we're going to change it to black. And then let's go and do the same for the y-axis. We'll turn off the title, we go to the values. The values are going to be bold and black. Okay, so we collapse this, and you're going to turn on the data labels and see how much these have increased. And as you can see, in 2008, the disbursed loans increased by 84%, and 2009 by 70, 60, and 54. So let's go ahead and now change the column colors. And the column colors will turn them from blue to a gray color. That's okay. We're also going to the general formatting of the column chart. We change the year, and this is the percentage variance dispersed by year. So let's change to percentage increase or decrease. Increase forward slash, because we are not only looking at this year, this data will be uploaded with time. So you'll find in the future there may be years where the variance is on the negative side, so that will be the decrease in loan disbursements. Okay, let's change the format of the heading, and we'll change this to Sergio or Sego, semi-bold. And then we will also change the other formattings, like let's collapse this. We'll go to the effect, and the background color will remain as white. We're just going to increase the transparency a little, and we have the visual border turned on, and the color of our border will be the same, mint green. We will increase the rounded corners, and we will also put on a shadow there, so that our column chart is nice and neat. So let's increase the rounded corners for this. We go back to general effects, And then now visual border, rounded corner, increase the pixels, and that is going to improve the look of this column chart. Well, that's okay. So the next thing that we want to analyze here is the loan disbursements by region, and to achieve this, we are going to use the maps, and I'll show you how we are going to analyze this data. The first thing you do, you'll come to the maps and click this icon. Wait for it to pop up on your report. So we're just going to resize it like that. And then what we want to analyze is the total loan disbursed. So let's first start with the location. I'm going to use the address. We're going all the way up. Select the address state, and you will see those bubbles appear. Then what you're going to select next and put it on our tooltip is the total disbursed loans. You see where it is. And you're going to have it right there. And you'll see as you click on these bubbles, the amount is appearing here. So let's remove this from the tooltip to the bubble size. Let's have it there. Okay. Now with that, you can see the states that have very high loan are dispersed to those regions. And if you look at those that have fully paid, you will still see that most of them are coming from this region, then charge off. And this is constant for all the options here. Okay, let's deselect that. And now let's just go ahead and format this map. From the format options, the first thing that we're going to do, the style is going to remain the road style, and then we're going to look at the bubbles, and the size is okay. We're going to change the colors from this blue to gray. That's okay. And then so let's go ahead and do the other formattings. We want to add to modify the title a bit, and this will be disbursed loans by region. Okay, that's okay. Let's go ahead and change the font to single semi-bold, and we shall reduce the font size. Then we take this to black. And then the next thing that we want to do, we can go ahead and collapse this. We are looking at the effects. So the transparency of the map can be 100% transparent, and that is okay. We will add a visual border here, of which we are going to increase the rounded corners to 10, and then we are going to add a shadow. Well, that is okay. So this analysis is showing us the disbursed loans by region, and we can see where the regions with uh, many borrowers. Let's change that visual border from black, and we shall make it also transparent. So we'll go to formatting effects, then visual border, then the color is going to be the mint green. That's okay. The other metric that you're going to display, we want to see the disbursed loan by the employment of the borrower. So to do that, I'm still going to introduce another column chart. And let's expand it a little. And in this case, we'll be looking at the total loans disbursed on the y-axis. And let's have a look at the employment status of the borrowers. So let's have a look at the employment length. So these are the years, and we have some people here who are not employed at all. So, and as we can see, those who have been employed for 10 years plus are the ones who are getting more loans. And this is increasing, this is decreasing by the number of years these people have been employed. And those who have, and as we can see, we go down here, a few things change. For those who have been employed for 6 years, they're getting much less than 7 years, followed by 8 years, and then 9. And lastly, those who are not employed at all. And if we look at the fully paid loans and analyze them, still we have these people leading. And if we look at the charged off, let's see how this comes out. We still see that those people who are employed for more than 10 years are still the ones who are leading in charged off loans. So we can go ahead and format this. I'll take the x-axis, and as usual, we remove these titles. And we look at the value. These are supposed to be bold. That is single, that is okay. And the color should be black. And the next thing we'll do the same for the y-axis. Turn off the title. We look at the values. That should be single UI. And then we go ahead and change the color. Make it bold and change the color to black. Then we will collapse this and have a look at these bars. We change the color so that it rhymes the theme color of our report. So this will be changed to gray. That's a dark gray. That is okay. And then we will go ahead and pick the general formatting. Let's have a look at the background color. That will remain as white. We'll add a visual border. We'll change the pixels to 10 of the rounded corners. Then the color is going to be this mint green. We'll go ahead and collapse that, and we have a shadow turned on. Then we'll go and change the title. And we call this disbursed loans by employment duration. The disbursed loan employment duration data. Because as you can see, we have people here who are not completely employed. Well, that's okay. What we need to have here are the data labels. We will go ahead and turn them on so that we are able to see these values. And this value should be displayed in millions because 0.11 billion could be a very not accurate number for someone to tell exactly how much it is. We could have this as display units in millions, and that is just fine. Okay. The other metric that you want to display here is the disbursed loan by the verification status. We want to see how many loans before the disbursement were verified and how many weren't. So we still need to do a column chart, and we'll look at the total loans by the verification status. So this is the total loan disbursed. We'll have this on the y-axis, and we come and look at the verification status of these loans. And as you can see, let's expand this downwards. Most of these loans were verified, others weren't, and some were source verified. So let's go ahead and format this column chart. And as usual, we're going for this, we don't have the title on the x-axis. So let's go and make this bold and then change the color here to black. And we check the same for the y-axis and ensure that the title is turned off. And for the values, we want to have that bold font and a black font. Well, that's okay. Then we go ahead and look at both the columns and the data labels for this section. So for the columns, we are going to standardize the color and have the same gray. And then we can collapse this. There are no more changes to be made there. We're going to add the data labels and turn them on. So since it's still displaying in billions, let's change the value, and adjust it a little so that it can show us in million. And that will be it. Okay, now we can go to the general formatting. For the title, we will have disbursed loans by the verification status. By verification, and let's remove the underscore here. Disbursed loan by verification status. Well, that's okay. Then the other thing that we are going to do, let's collapse this and have the effects changes. The transparency will remain. We're going to have the visual border, and the color of this visual border will change to the mint green. and then we'll increase the pixels to 10. That is okay. The last thing that we're going to display here is the disbursed loan by the purpose of the loan. We need to know what is the reason of this they are borrowing, how would they want to spend the money, and which category of these borrowers are able to pay off fully their loans or are being charged off depending on the purpose of the loans. We still use another column chart for this, and we'll do the same for as the others. On the y-axis, we'll put the total loan disbursed, and then on the x-axis, we're going to have the purpose of these loans. And as you can see, we have so many reasons as to why these people are borrowing, and we'll go ahead and format our chart here. So I think we need to reduce this space a little, so that the purpose of this okay, I see even if we pulled it all the way, it would still not fit. So there are people who look for debt consolidation, credit card, home improvement, other purposes, the small business, others for a major purchase, for a car, for a wedding, and lastly for renewable energy. So most people who are taking these loans were applying for the loans for debt consolidation so that probably they can clear off other debts and focus probably on one debt only. So let's go ahead and format this chart. Okay, we go through the normal method of us of how we have been formatting other column charts. So we go to the x-axis, we've turned off the title. We go to the values on the y-axis, and we make this black and bold. We'll do the same for the x-axis. We'll take the values and make them have a black and bold font. So once we are done with this, we're going to collapse it. We're going to columns and check at the color of the columns. So we'll turn this to gray. And then after that, we're going to add the data labels. And we're going to see how to display this. We could display it in millions of or hundreds of thousands. So let's see. Go all the way down to values. And under values, we'll go to display units. And let's start with millions and see how this is. Well, that's okay. We can display them like this. We'll go to the general formatting. The effects, and we're going to change this by the loan disbursed by purpose. Disbursed loans by purpose. Disbursed loan by purpose. And then we go to the other formattings of adding a visual border and a shadow. And within this, we'll format the visual border from black to mint green. And then for the rounded corners, we'll increase this to 10. Well, that is okay. So let's have a look at what we have here. We have the loan performance and defaulting risk mitigation report. We have the KPIs, the total applications, total amount disbursed, amount repaid, and the average payment duration. So this is hiding our some part of our report. It's good to go through your report before presenting it anywhere so that you know you're working with the so that's okay. Probably we can look for another way of displaying this filter, and we could bring it up here up and across, then expand it from this point. I don't think I want to see these borders on the values. So let me look for the borders here and turn this off. Okay, maybe probably we can have that. That's okay. So let's look at the effects, and I want to increase that visual border. It's 2, probably we take it to 6. That is fine. Okay, now we can just go ahead and expand our KPIs. So that is okay. Everything is aligned well. And we have the next part is the percentage increase or decrease of disbursed loans per year. And we have this display here of how the loan disbursement have been growing annually. So one thing I want to look at is and the effect, the transparency we increase to 40. Probably we'll do the same for the others so that we can have the same format. Then we were able to visualize the disbursed loans by region. and we see where most concentration is. The others is they are just cash. We are not borrowing that much in these regions, and then you can see the others are a bit high, and then there's one here in Alaska. Okay, so let's look at the other metric is the disbursed by employment duration and status. Let's adjust this title and say disbursed loans. And we'll make this chart transparent and increase it to 20%. That is okay. So for the title, we're also going to make it bold and increase the font a little. So let's have a look at this, and this is the title is 14 pixels, CGUI, semi-bold. So we'll make the same for this. This is or Sage or Sigo, Sigo UI semi-bold, and then 14, 14 pixels. Let's go to the next matrix, and this is looking at the disbursed loans by verification status. And and we'll just look at some formattings here. Let's increase the transparency to 20 so that it matches the others. And for this, we are able to see which loans were verified amongst the issued, the disbursed loans, and which were not verified and others were source verified. Lastly is the disbursed loans by the purpose. So as you can see, most people who are borrowing, they were borrowing for debt consolidation, followed by the credit card. This is Sigo semi-UI bold. That is 14. Then we look at the transparency of this column chart. We increase it. That's okay. Now, from this analysis, we have been able to capture all the requirements of the business, and we're able to deliver something that could guide the business in terms of which people do they want, like they could minimize on the people who are taking loans for debt consolidation, and probably if we filter on this, we can see that the numbers of such loans are decreasing. For those people who are charged off, they could minimize taking up people who are just borrowing for debt consolidation and probably focus on other loan purposes. Okay, that is going to be the end of this lesson. I hope you have learned a lot. I hope you're able to pick up on some things that you could use in your analysis. Join me in the next lesson as we explore another Power BI project. And until then, stay safe.